Hello people, Sniper Girl here, and there are some things I want to talk about, so let's talk. The topics I cover in this video is part of the reason why I barely posted Dirty Bomb videos these past 2 months, as these changes and stuff caused me to be bored of the game. With the Hunter and Phantom rework released this week, it's another exciting time in Dirty Bomb, but for this video, I'll be talking about the way Splash Damage dealt with Dirty Bomb leading up to this point. So from the beginning of 2018 to get prepared for the Dirty Bomb 1.0 release. So let's start at the beginning with topic number 1, removal of the lead and iron cards. This, I must say, was a very much needed change. They added augments to the default cards just so the new players wouldn't complain about the game being pay to win. I just wish there was an option for players like myself to keep the old default cards with no augments, because when this was announced, I had to finish my Back to the Beginning series ASAP, since that whole series was based on the default cards with no augments. I also know that some players do not like using double time and wish there was an option to disable that augment, because if you were using a loadout card with it, now you don't have a choice, especially if you're new to the game and do not have the old lead and iron cards. Moving on to topic number 2, which was the reduction of the chances of getting cobalt cards. So let's start with the prime case, aka one of the only 2 ways you can get a cobalt card from cases, because in the lead and iron update, elite cases and expert cases were removed. I'll give you props, Splash Damage, for allowing us to choose Merc specific cases and at least guaranteed gold loadout cards for the Merc of our choice. But the only way to get this option is through purchasing. I see where you're getting at, to try to make us obtain cobalt cards of our choice. Or we could buy the bundle of 5 or 10 if we really wanted to test our RNG for cobalt cards. There is another way to get this case without purchasing, and it's from getting lucky and obtaining them from the new Arsenal crate, aka the Advancement crate. And the prime case you get from the Arsenal crate contains all the mercs, which is basically the new elite case, but supposedly better since you're guaranteed gold loadouts. And goddammit, CAD Gaming's 2 prime cases in a row and cobalt in both cases. The other chance we have now to get a cobalt from cases is to get the performance bonus case from Day 7 Daily, aka the old Mark IV case, aka the old combined expert case, which guarantees bronze to cobalt. But of course, the case does not tell you the odds, and you only get this basically every 6 days if you play 1 match every day when your daily resets, and ensuring that after you complete the Day 7 you play a second match to get the Day 1 reward complete again. Then of course there's the crafting way to get a cobalt, where we now get free fragment cases from the case drops, and we recycle loadout cards we don't want from loadout cases or from crafting failures. And this takes time to obtain enough fragments, and on top of that, get enough crafting kits from Arsenal crates or purchasing them with real money if you don't want to grind the 50k credits to craft the cobalt. Moving on to topic number 3, the new Advancement crate, aka the Arsenal crate changes. So they removed the 12-hour and 18-hour credit booster. Basically, if you were lucky, you could keep stacking them and constantly have credit booster on. So now it only has the 6-hour credit booster. I'm not against this, as credit boosters are whatever to me, and only valuable during extra credit weekends for me to see them worth to use. What bothers me the most about the crate changes is that weapon kits are still impossible to get enough to use when crafting a cobalt, because it takes 45 weapon kits. So before in the Arsenal crate there was 5 weapon kits and 1 weapon kit. Now they've taken out 5 weapon kits and changed the 1 weapon kit to 2 weapon kits. In a perfect scenario, if you get the 2 weapon kits every single time you leveled up, you would need to level up 23 times, compared to leveling up 9 times if you got 5 weapon kits every time. I was hoping that they would just remove the 1 weapon kit and keep 5 weapon kits, or even add a 10 into the Arsenal crate. But now, they did announce some experience changes they are considering and going to change for the future, which is my next topic. So here's Splash Damage's announcement of this change that's gonna happen from their dev video.
Could you reduce the experience necessary to level up? leveling up faster. Hold on. Weren't you guys working on that?
Yes, that's been something that's been on our radar for quite a long time. There's a couple of issues, really. Obviously, it's how long it takes to level up. The other problem that we wanted to tackle is that XP varies widely between players. You can have some that score 20, 30K in a match, while others are scoring hardly anything, because on server browser, very experienced players versus new players. So what we want to do is actually have that be a score and instead have a more stable rate for XP. So more players we can know, within a few sessions or a long session, they'll be able to level up, so rewards will be more constant.
From this, I take that they'll probably reduce the experience required to level up, and from the sounds of this, it makes me think of Overwatch, where you get base experience based on how long the match is, but instead, in this case, your score will be converted to some ratio to base experience. I do not want this added. You can reduce the base experience to level up. Go ahead, Splash Damage, but to me this removes leveling up by skill, since score is experience, essentially converting Dirty Bomb from a skill-based shooter into a casual shooter. And I consider myself above average, so I average around 10,000 experience a match, and it takes 400,000 to level up. So essentially, I would level up within 10 hours of gameplay, sometimes even faster, of course. And I actually had an all-day session 2 weeks ago, and I leveled up in 1 day. It was unbelievable, but it made me feel good because I was having so much fun. Moving on to topic number 5, the new DLC packages. Let me just say that the old Elite Starter Pack DLC was also $50. It included every merc at the time except for Phantom and Bushwhacker, and it also came out before Turtle was released. This is a little weird to me because the devs have announced that at 1.0 release they will put Bushwhacker as a free merc for everyone with Aura and Skyhammer. Maybe this was them pre-planning well a year ago about doing this, which was why Bushwhacker was not in this old bundle and Phantom was not in this old bundle, because maybe they had planned this Phantom rework that just released this week well in advance. Anyways, the problem with DLCs is that when you own mercs in the packages already, you don't get any compensation and you lose value in them. And I just want to point this out here, but Splash Damage, with this latest update, how did you let this happen on the Phoenix Obsidian Operative? You see, that bronze placeholder that's there is the original design that Splash Damage had proposed for the Phoenix Obsidian Operative. Once they announced this bronze version, there was so much backlash that the next week they changed it to the way that the Phoenix Obsidian Operative looks now in-game. So the in-game model right now is correct, but it's just odd on the loadout card. So I'm just curious, how do you mess something up like that? This reminds me of how the Hexadic trinket, one of my favorite obituary flares, is still messed up and hasn't broken ever since the Ghost Clip event, where they released the Spectre trinket and replaced that obituary flare with the original Hexadic trinket obituary flare. And I reported this bug for months now, since Ghost Clip event, and still no fix. Thanks, Splash Damage, for crushing my dreams. Anyways, the main reason this topic is here is because Splash Damage re-released the Obsidian Operatives. These Obsidian Operatives that they said were exclusive and for a limited time only. Splash Damage also said that they were going to make minor changes to the skins so you can tell them apart. Well, the reality is, they only changed the loadout cards, so the augments and weapon sets for the new Phoenix, Artie, Fletcher, and Stoker are different. And this time around, they straight up just re-released the BL63 from the Phantom Obsidian Operative this week. They already released that loadout, and they made no effort to change it at all, like they previously did. This is a big slap in the face to a player like me who enjoys buying limited edition things and enjoys being exclusive. Speaking of the Obsidian Operatives, Splash Damage, to me, you took a step backwards with the release of the Amy Obsidian Operative. My complaint throughout the release of the Artie, Fletcher, Stoker, and Phantom Obsidians was the fact that the weapons were iron-skinned. When the Phoenix Obsidian Operative came out, I was overjoyed by the fact that the weapon actually had some orange lines and black on it, and it didn't look like an iron weapon. But nope, Amy Obsidian Operative was released, and her weapon was iron-skinned. Moving on to my next topic, which is the addition of weapon attachments, and it came from February 6th, Ask the Devs.
Will there be attachments like Silencer or Red Dot?
Yes, actually, we're working on a system for that right now, which lets you unlock and configure weapons individually. It's one of our big priorities for DB 1.0, and since it does impact gameplay through side grades, we won't be putting anything behind a paywall. You know, it won't be any monetization of all of that system. It'll just be things you can unlock and play with.
I have to be honest, the only scope that needs to be adjusted and fixed is the Stark AR scope and crosshair. The rest of the weapons are fine. Yes, it is odd that only the Blisslock has the red dot sight, but as we know, Dirty Bomb is a hip-fire game. You really only use your iron sight for long-range engagements or if enemy is behind cover. The silencer aspect I am very iffy about, unless they make it like Black Squad, where you aren't detected on the minimap and reduce the damage per bullet by 1, and the sound effect is changed. Next, we have topic number 7, which is the changes to Ranked Season 4. So the removal of Phantom during the season and adding Javelin in. Also removing Terminal and Underground from rotation later, because these maps are going to be reworked, or has been already. I would like to believe that Splashdam has said that they were not going to introduce changes to Ranked while a season is in session. I understand the removal of Phantom because they just reworked him and wanted to balance the Ranked play, because the ridiculousness of this Phantom rework is scary. Like, they remove the audio cue if he's cloaked near you and he's nearly invisible, so out of nowhere you just die. I'd be okay with Phantom in this rework if they just put that back, or just make him a little more visible while sprinting. But I do commend Splash Damage for putting in the mechanic where he cannot be spotted or detected while cloaked, while still being able to spot him when he's uncloaked. So here's the problem with having Splash Damage adding Javelin into Ranked. Even though friendly fire is enabled in Ranked, it is still such an easy insta-give on spawn if a rocket hits. Every spawn wave, Javelin will have a rocket up most likely, and there's barely any counterplay to the rocket except for shooting it or hiding behind a turtle shield, or just hoping that you swerve correctly, that you dodge the rocket. So just imagine 3 to 4 Javelins stacked together on a team, and there's literally nothing you could do. Also, how could you add Javelin into Ranked without adding Guardian into Ranked, when Guardian was made for the purpose of stopping projectiles and airstrikes and countering all the spam in the game? In addition to that, Guardian was released very quickly to answer the aftermath of the Javelin release during Gamescom week, which sure saw a peak of 5,000 players, but quickly dropped due to how overpowered she was and was ruining the game. I have a proposal for this, and that is to add Merc limits into Ranked. If you want a surely balanced game, especially since Ranked is the core game mode that you want to focus on, because Merc stacking in Ranked is just dumb. There are legitly 23 Mercs in the game now. 20 of them are enabled for Ranked at the moment, and it is 5v5, so there are plenty of Mercs to choose from per team. The next thing I'm going to bring up is the removal of the old terminal from Ranked. So they did this while the Ranked season is on, and to me this is just a slap in the face. They didn't do this when they reworked Dome mid-season. They kept the old Dome in Ranked only. So with this direction that they're going now, it looks like they're also going to remove Underground next week from Ranked while they work on it. But honestly, they should just keep it there because it's still going to be in regular play. Change during Ranked season that affects Ranked should not happen because that's what they originally promised, and it looks like they're turning back from that promise in the first place. Also, these new Ranked weapon cases aren't even worth it for me to play Ranked, especially with the addition of Javelin into Ranked. I'd very much rather get a loadout card. So for now, I'll be waiting for the release of the pub version of Obsidian Nader, which is usually $10 or 200k credits, and maybe get the Ranked Obsidian version when the season finally ends, and I get my season end rewards at this point. It's not worth it suffering in Ranked with the impossible queue times and unbalanced matches. So the last point that I want to make is the sniper changes that happened. Mainly the sniper change of adjustments to fire interval and cocking animation timings. And this came out of nowhere in the Nuclear Winter event. They adjusted it in the Lead and Iron update by making the animation faster, but it didn't really do anything. But now they finally fixed it and sort of aligned it where it used to be pre-Nuclear Winter update. So the issue was, After shooting your sniper, the delay was so long, once you miss a shot at short range, you're basically dead, unless the sniper misses and you dodge long enough to pull out your secondary, switch to your melee, or shoot another sniper bullet. This was a terrible change that essentially made sniper players quit the game and made playing aggressive sniper basically impossible, and the way they wanted people to play sniper was in the back shooting. I'm glad they fixed it this week, and this is a step in the right direction. It took 3 months to basically fix the issue and properly balance sniping. So that is all I have to say, and Splash Damage, I really love this game. I really love Hunter. I understand you sometimes need to tweak certain mercs and maps, but don't make them unannounced and come out of nowhere. Keep doing what you're doing by listening to your community and don't take a step backwards. I just hope that your 1.0 release will be as successful as ever. So if you watch this whole video, feel free to start up a conversation about the things I've said or bring other points into the comments. I really want to talk about this, so Sniper Girl out.